see if I make a few response videos here, so all this might be pretty well disconnected. So whatever, let's just play along with some of this crap. This Trees guy, you know, I'll just jump in his video here because I can't be bothered. I mean, he's so incomprehensible. But he starts the video, the first minute 33, he's griping about Vloggerdome and my intentions and what I have done and what people have done. Like, it's just such a lie, and it's just so obnoxious. And this is why, I blocked you on YouTube a long time ago because you're an obnoxious troll and a liar and an asshole and you're rude. Okay, I mean, I don't do this shit on your fucking videos. Why do you think you have a right to do it on other people's? I mean, fuck you. Really? So anyway, so let's just be clear. I mean, I haven't promoted Vloggerdome as some bastion of freedom or some place where everybody should go run. I haven't done any of that. I've simply said that I make my videos off of YouTube for the reasons I've specified, because I don't like YouTube censorship, and I don't like corporate ownership, and I don't like the whole advertising model of public accommodation. You know, you have to have enough dollars flowing into this system, or you're not going to get any services out of a system like this. And so it's just like cable TV, where like the Learning Channel turns into the Ghost Channel, and A&E turns into the whatever Cartoon Channel. I mean, it just, you know, everything goes back to just selling candy, because it's all driven by this marketing incentive engine. And I think that's really dangerous to have our philosophical free speech rights in that container. It's a lousy container, rotten to the fucking core. So anyway, so fuck you and your slanders. That's all you are. You're just a lying, slandering piece of whatever Santa Clauset shit.
Programs. Every atom in the world makes another atom move or do something. You're not deciding to do something. It's the thing out there that's making you decide to do that thing. You know. Well, you can say the same thing as antinatalism then.
Did you get that? I don't know. I think that was a determinism argument, that somehow she doesn't like determinism, I guess. I don't know. So
choosing to be a non-antinatalist, it's the universe that's making me be a non-antinatalist. I'm only being what the universe makes me.
What the universe makes you is capable of logical cognition. Now, you can either do that with intellectual honesty, or you can do that with intellectual dishonesty. That's a different program. Okay, so all we're doing is measuring your programs. Now, what's running you? Are you devoted to the facts and the truth, or are you devoted to some other mission statement in your existence? So the determinism has decided you're just going to be a lying, slandering, false, phony, fake piece of shit. And so that's what you are. Because those programs are stronger than the programs running saying, nah, just be a disciplined, reasonable person who concedes that the truth is pretty ugly and that we really sort of have to deal with it. Yeah, that person isn't strong enough in you. That program that gives a fuck about the truth is weak. And the program that's just an obnoxious, arrogant, egomaniacal jackass has won. So yeah, that's your determinism. You're an asshole. That's your determinism. Bravo.
A pile of crap and a mental illness. How do you find any fucking validity in the shit you say, but my fucking shit is shit? Your stuff is all valid. That your view of life is fucking real. You make a choice, not...
Yeah, well, again, they're not that complicated. The premises of this argument are not complicated. You either believe in unintelligent design or you don't. You believe in 4 billion years of evolution, a preposterous perfect storm of creation, a crude mechanism of competitive selection that has no capacity to do things like fairness or justice. So it has none of our intelligent attributes. It just has dumb attributes of selection. Yeah, those are the facts. Now, if you want to argue those facts, fine. But this is just stupid to sit there and tell me I have to have your conclusion. Okay, you don't have my facts. So without my facts, you can't have my conclusion. That's right. I think your conclusion is shit because I think your facts are shit. You don't even have any facts, right? You're just going to be one of these ambiguous assholes who says we don't know. Well, I'm sorry. We do fucking know. Look out the window, fucker. It's evolution, shithead.
Basically what it comes down to. The atoms. The fucking atoms made us do it. As far as I'm concerned, it's a fucking whiskey that makes me do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a real way to sell how you've been abused or you're being maligned or you're being somehow unfairly treated when that's what you celebrate. You know, I mean, really, celebrate the death of your neurons in the video and then talk about how you got it right and that you're not the crazy fuck. I mean, he says here, in a world, the world is simple when you think you're the only one that understands it. Mental hospitals are full of people like that. Well, again, I don't think I'm the only one that understands it. I think the only people who don't give it a fair argument are just assholes, and that's just as simple. They're just drunks, okay? They're morons. They're addicted jackasses. That's all. There's no other explanation. They're simple-minded. That's what the atoms have made them. That's right. Yeah, you think it's a joke that atoms make it happen, but that's right. The energy makes it all happen. Energy does it.
You gotta fucking love it, man, ain't you? You gotta fucking love it. It's the atoms, man. Atoms. They control my brain. I don't think. I don't make decisions. I'm just responding to the atoms and stuff, you know.
I guess the subject is just over his head, right? I mean, there's nothing else to say, right? He doesn't understand the cause and effect universe. He thinks we have a little man inside of our brain that makes all our decisions for us. It's not the brain making decisions based on reflexes. We're not just a combination of reflexes that react. No, we have little people inside of us that think first. Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah, that's funny.
Fucking, you know, tiny little atoms, you know what I mean? Well, you're the same. So the bullshit you talk about with anti-Natalism is just the same as the bullshit that we talk about fucking having sex and having kids and, you know, the world is...
Well, again, you're going to say it's bullshit. What I'm trying to explain is that there's two categories you can put information in. Accurate and inaccurate. We have categories that we can define and we can show the credibility of different arguments. Somebody could theorize that a giant bowl of spaghetti, okay, with monstrous sharp teeth, is God. Now, he can propose that theory, but he's not going to have an argument or evidence or any kind of causal chain and effect logic, okay, to support that theory, where somebody else can propose a theory of abiogenesis, a chemical reaction, a first replicating cell, and 4 billion years of evolution. And that theory they can support with evidence. Not only circumstantial evidence, but hard physical evidence.
Fixable, you know what I mean? Oh, it's not fixable, we just want to keep making kids and just go on there, just eat, just no.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, the fact is that there's no problem unless assholes make it. That's just the truth. There's no spilt vodka if some asshole doesn't spill it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Humor is fucking a great antidepressant, man, you know what I mean? So is fucking alcohol in small doses, you know what I mean? Small doses of alcohol, just to you know.
Yeah, and right, heroin and yeah, whatever else you've been on in your life. I mean, you're the guy seeking a solution in any kind of chemical, atomic form possible, except logic and the truth. Those toxins for what ails you, you don't want. So, yeah, because they're not going to make you happy, and that's all you want. You just want to be happy. Happy. Well, fuck that.
Maybe we should just fucking tie it to a dentist chair and give you some laughing gas, you know what I mean? Film that. Put that.
Yeah, right. That's a solution to the world's problems. Yeah, we got an economic crisis. Well, why don't we all just, strap on the nitrous oxide and have a good laugh? Ha ha ha. Oh, we have to do 5 years of hard labor in the gulag, Oh, let's just do some nitric oxide and laugh at it. Yeah, way to go. Way to be the responsible human. Sasquatch. You do a little Sasquatchy there.
I'll put your fucking website. Ha ha ha, ho ho ho, he he he. People would fucking stop being anti-natives right away. That's the fucking way to turn out, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You just crack them up. You'll have them just rolling in the aisles, laughing and laughing and laughing. Yeah, my eyes will be rolling in the aisles. Yeah.
Don't know why I'm so lightheaded.
Yeah, but you've been drinking.
This is just the day after 2 days of fasting, And I did go through quite a lot of food, And I've had three halves and so.
Oh, he ate 3 houses or so? I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'll have another drink.
Fucking hell, that's as good as a pine chip sounds.
Yeah. Kill the brain and then talk about how your brain works. Good idea. Anyway, enough of that. Treese is crazy. So I think we want to do Pyrrho, I think. Yeah. Dogmatism and theism. This is really annoying. Okay, because he apparently doesn't know what these words mean. But he's doing this. It's the same old game, and it's really irritating. Well, see, he's not doing dogmatism and theism. He's doing dogmatism and skepticism. And he's saying that somehow, anybody who has a confidence in a belief is being dogmatic. And therefore, it would be unresponsive to new evidence. And it's just such a lie. There's a huge difference between being confident in a truth and being dogmatic. Dogmatism comes from authority. It comes from somebody stating it, not proving it, no evidence. None of those things are part of dogma. Dogma is not evidence-based theory. All right? If somebody has evidence-based theory and are confident, that's called being rational. All right? And they shouldn't not believe it because you say, I don't think so. I think there's I think there's special. I think there's superpower. No, they shouldn't sit there and be unconfident because you're holding out. But what about magic? Yeah, no, that shouldn't be something they consider because there's no reason to consider it because there's no evidence that it has any reality except as a creation of people's imaginations. And so this is really, really, really obnoxious to say that somebody who has confidence is dogmatic. It's just fucking rude, Pyrrho.
For example, a priori principles. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So if a spaceship is going, 200,000 miles an hour in that direction, and another one's going, 200,000 miles in that direction, then the one should see the other going 400,000 miles an hour away from them. It's not true because of relativistic time.
Well, now that's just breaking the rules, though, isn't it? Nobody's claiming that 2 plus 2 equals 4 in an environment where you get to decide that the 2's, change based on how big you write them or some other circumstance. Okay, the argument is that if you have an immutable 2, a 2 that is a standard, that the 2 plus the standard 2 will equal the standard 4. So again, you're perverting and you're weaseling wedges into things that are solid to try to create an illusion that they're not solid. Math is solid. The fact that there's relativity in space doesn't have anything to do. Well, relativity, it's not even relativity in space. Frankly, you have to be traveling at certain speeds to be able to create any distance problem in your equation.
And dilation. to apply math, even it is not dogmatically true, where you can say, of course, it's going to apply to every situation. It is universal.
Well, there's some things, again, I mean, everything has to be qualified to be outside the realm of some magic or some other kind of bullshit. So again, this insistence that we are not allowed to say, look, for the sake of argument, let's pretend magic is bullshit.
No, it's not universal. It requires qualifications. You know, what to what? To apples?
To standards. To anything of a standard. Shit.
No, 2 feet? Okay. Alright, now I see the possibility of you understanding baby steps. You know, people that get their truth from an institution or a book or something they just rely on instead of evidence. It has nothing to do with with whether or not the dogmatist is correct in what they believe.
Well, see, isn't that silly? It doesn't have anything to do with whether they're correct. No, I think it does have something to do with whether they're correct. Let's jump ahead, see if he says anything.
You know, so we know that there's more adjusting to do based on a continual stream of information that we as living creatures get by definition. And therefore we predict and know from...
Yeah, again, continual stream, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we've been doing that for 10,000 years, okay? We've acquired a nice big giant box full of information. All right, we have a lot of puzzle pieces. And the truth is we have the important ones, okay? We have the ones with the dog's eyeball and the dog's nose and the dog's ear. And so we can tell this is a damn dog.
Important. But scientists don't say that. They say enigma are super important. We don't know what to make of it yet, but they remember and they show their students, look at this weird thing, and eventually it gets explained and the enigma becomes...
No, it doesn't. That's the whole problem with the way science is working now. They're as much trying to find an excuse to popularize their bullshit as anything else. They'll call their particles God particles, and they'll have 2 slit experiments around for 100 fucking years, and nobody will do any real hard analysis. Quite amazing.
Explicable becomes a part of the system, okay, because of the way we're thinking non-dogmatically. So that's the complaint, is to think non-dogmatically. You might jump from a dogma of theism to a dogma of anti-theism, where you make a church out of secular humanism. Congratulations, you took a step forward.
Well, again, these are just silly comparisons. Yeah, look, you said it before. You acquire the evidence and you be compelled by the evidence. It's not that complicated, by some sort of reasonable doubt standard. And that's it. But there's no need to be reverent. No one's arguing for reverent confidence. Okay, just enough confidence to say that guy's guilty, put him in jail.
If you take it skeptically, you'll be able to make it past the next threshold. Of course there's another threshold. There is always another threshold. Assume that.
Yeah, right. Assume that there's a never-ending cascade of information about something crudely simple. I mean, I have a little plastic Donald Duck, and you wind him up, and he walks across the driveway. I mean, no, there isn't an unlimited amount of necessary information that you need to be able to define and describe and say what is that thing's origin, what's its function, what's its efficiency. Those things can be described. It's not that complicated, and you don't have to sit around waiting for further information. There's a point where you got all the information you need to say, I know what that thing is.
You might not want to take it. Maybe you're an old man or woman and you are done stepping over thresholds. You just want to relax now. You're 104 years old, for God's sake. But it's still going to be there. Don't forget. And
I don't even know what that means, but whatever. Move on.
skepticism. Again, it doesn't matter if you're rational. That's not enough. You can be rational, but filtering out important data. The skepticism relies not only on logic and rationality and being reasonable, having reasons, but that those reasons are material. They're things that are sensed, ideally sensed in a way you can tell somebody else how to go sense it.
Well, this isn't even skepticism. This whole talk about reasons that are sensed. I mean, obviously you have to perceive the reasons, or they're not going to be capable of being part of your rationale. So, duh to that one. Again, skepticism for the sake of skepticism. This sounds like a religion to me. The religion of skepticism. Like somehow there's nothing we know. We don't know for sure that this is a little thingy on my desk, that a little plastic piece of crap. No, we don't know that for sure. It could be a spy, a Russian spy. I mean, we should all be psychotic, lunatic, schizophrenic, paranoid, crazy fucks thinking, oh, there's cameras everywhere and the universe is watching me and the aliens have me in a little box on, Gumbanto, and they're laughing their asses off, while I do the Truman Show. I mean, bullshit.
Do you understand all this? Because this is baby talk. Okay, this is what dogmatism is really about, the technical version.
Yeah, sorry. No sale. So, whatever. You see it in the comments here. That is nihilism. Purism says to assert to what appears to be the case, but make only theories about it and stay open to new information. Well, make only theories about it. Again, then you'll never act. If you're only going to theorize that somebody's guilty and you're not going to sit there and convict them of guilt, then you're not going to be able to put them in prison, and then they're going to murder again and again and again and again. And stay open to new information, including that which is not really new, but merely suffering from neglect. Yeah, and again, where does anything, there's nothing stopping that in having confidence. So again, you don't have to be skeptical of the roundness of the earth and all this other crap to be functional and to be capable of hearing some argument. If somebody wants to make an argument that it's not, well, let them make the argument. I'm open to the argument. Practically now, ancient skeptics had this nihilist vision, even the academics which had reputation even with Sextus, or whatever. Pyrrho certainly did not, and had an empirical approach to knowledge, and an intense interest in collecting it in all forms possible. So we don't even know what he means by empirical, because he doesn't define dogmatism right or skepticism right. So how the hell could we assume he defines empirical right? Yeah. At that point, the science is not skeptical and indeed not scientific. Just because a person called a scientist can be irrational doesn't make irrationality part of science. Anyway, skeptics make better arguments than dogmatists because they argue from the evidence. Well, again, that's your argument. And again, dogmatist, you're calling anybody who has confidence a dogmatist, which is absolutely disgusting. I mean, that's a nonsense premise right from the start. So fuck you for that. Fuck you for that bullshit. That's just bullshit. You want to call a theist a dogmatist, fine. But to call people who just don't share your dopey, we don't know yet opinion, a dogmatist, that's fucking bullshit. You phantasmagorical, silly, putty shit for brain. There. That's what you deserve. Alright, moving on to comments. No, I don't think we'll do that. Well, let's see what comments was. I think that's the Jay Sounder video. Browser's a little slow. Yeah, I left a comment. Yay for me. I don't do that too often. Yeah, very rarely. Yeah, here's Jay. Yes, these people can't and don't want to deal with these basic premises. I think if they honestly dealt with them, they'll see why anti-nails makes rational sense. Well, I think obviously if they deal with like the Frankenstein analogy, they can't explain why the Frankensteins should kill themselves. or why it would be a good idea for the Frankensteins just to say, oh well, we're miserable, too bad, ha ha. Look how fun and wonderful the silly little balloon chasers are. No, that's not going to happen either. I mean, it's just, there's nothing for them to do but to fight back. I mean, it's just perfectly rational. You know, and the only people that can fight back are the able-bodied Frankensteins. That's the disgusting thing here, right? Because most of the Frankensteins rolling down the hill, yeah, most of them are crippled. They're dead. You know, they're dead by the time they get to the bottom of the hill. They just suffer as they're rolling down. You know, all the war dead, all the dead of diseases, all the kids that died, all the people who died saying, I'd rather not have done this bullshit. Most of them are dead. You know, most of them don't have a voice. And so the ones that do have a voice have even more of an obligation to do something. Because they're representing people who can't do anything. Kind of like that guy in England, right? He can't do it for himself, and he relies on the people to do it for him, and they kick him in the nuts. Because people just fucking suck. These people especially. Alright, so I guess we'll go to one of the stupid Andy videos. It's loading. So this will probably blow up as I loaded this last night. And Firefox is a bitch. So, but it's always, we'll play like the last bit. The first half is always boring bullshit.
World, I don't know anything. I know absolutely nothing. And based upon on Socrates' writings, or at least what other people have written about him, it's hard to say what he actually believed. He never actually said anything. He never actually propounded any beliefs. He simply examined beliefs, belief itself. And so he thought about it, and he thought about it, and he went, wait a minute. Perhaps I alone among men know that I know nothing. So maybe...
Yeah, well again, this is... You want to play with Socrates? Well, that's your choice, okay? You wanted to tell everybody what you think Socrates was saying? Or what he believed? Well, go ahead. I think it's a lame place to argue from. You want to use Socrates in some kind of discussion about intelligence, you know, some sort of discussion that doesn't have something at stake, then great. Have fun. Alright, but if you're going to use it in some argument about whether there should be drunk drivers or not, well then you're going to have to be really, really careful because there's something on the line here, okay? And you're relying on an interpretation or somebody's interpretation of what Socrates said. I mean, this is really getting strangled and incredible. That's what this is called. Incredible fucking rhetoric.
that's what makes me wise. I know that I'm thoroughly ignorant, whereas
Yeah, again, so that's your premise, all right? Your premise is we don't know we evolved by competitive selection. We don't know it was 4 billion years of evolution. We don't know that it was 500 million with sentient life. We don't know the construct. We don't know fully. We don't functionally and sufficiently understand our origin and function to draw conclusions about the worth of the replication for the sake of replication game. And that's what the game of life is. That's your bullshit premise. We don't know. Well, we do fucking know.
other people think that they're wise, but they don't really know everything. They don't know anything, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, well, whatever. Again, that's your accusation based on nothing. I got a pile of National Geographics that say fucking otherwise. I do know some shit, okay? A pretty good volume of shit. And what I do know is there's no rational theory that can even scratch, even put a little mar on the crystal clarity of evolution as the theory of our origin. That game is well the fuck over.
In fact, Socrates admitted that he knew nothing.
Well, he did know nothing in the context of what we know, okay? So yeah, being realistic, we know a hell of a lot more now. Oh, this is just so fucking tedious.
What that tells me is Socrates knew that axioms are, logically speaking and rationally speaking, a potential blind alley and a potential dead end.
Yeah, well, you keep using these words like cul-de-sac and dead end and blah, 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 and that doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. I'm sorry. You can keep arguing we don't know what we are, and then you'll sit there and say, But we somehow do know that the default function of the DNA is where we should invest ourselves. That's what intelligence should do. Intelligence shouldn't say, the system looks crude and stupid, I'll apply my intelligence. No. The intelligent thing to do is to say, the system looks crude and stupid, I won't apply my intelligence, and I'll just go with the crude and stupid. And that's reasonable in your book. Well, in my book, that's fucking idiotic. And the only reason why you would do that is because you got some sort of personal incentive. Because you're going to get something out of it. It makes life easier for you. And that's the only reason. The only reason.
Because if you start to use them in terms of, or rather as absolutes, you end up making unsustainable conclusions.
Right. Or you end up flying to the moon. Or you end up, like the Wright brothers, flying an airplane off the ground and actually making it work. Or you end up curing, creating penicillin or curing polio. Yeah, that's what you do with those kind of conclusions.
Mathematics is not an absolute.
Well, again, this is another bullshit. Yeah, I mean, you're going to premise an argument based on something. There's no way you're going to prove that mathematics isn't an absolute. That the function created by distinction, okay, that things have a category, the fact that things can be put in categories, and that categories can have that they can expand numerically. These are facts. They're not something you can undo. It's the function. It's a property of the universe that things become things. That they become things through separation, and separation creates that map.
And thinking that it is gets you into all sorts of troubles, because when you deal with the concept of infinity, you can't have a finite piece of infinity, and that's what.
Infinity is not necessarily have anything to do with mathematics. Okay, infinity is an add-on. It's some kind of special sauce poured on top of mathematics. Nowhere in mathematics is infinity relevant. It just isn't. Okay, the only possible place it could be relevant is, well, it can't even be relevant there, actually. I mean, unless you believe the quanta isn't the quanta, then you could argue that pi is infinite. But again, why would I engage in an argument dependent on these idiotic premises? Okay, because that doesn't change anything about the crude nature of the universe. It is completely irrelevant to the subject. But you just want to try to say that, look, even these things that are solid aren't really solid. Well, they are solid, and they're solid for our purposes. The truth of our origins and our understanding of those origins is solid for the purposes of our behavior and to make the choices we have to make. And you're just saying don't make any choice, just go with the default. You're just trying to disengage active, intelligent behavior and say no, just go with the default because you happen to you happen conveniently to think the default is correct. So in a political argument, this would be called like the chicanery of just keeping the status quo. That's all you're trying to do. You're just defending the status quo, and you're going to kill all intelligence to do it. And that's what a weasel you are.
Numbers are attempting to do. But you can still, within the boundaries that you've set for yourself, you can still work with those axioms. But you've got to be careful of the fact that you're doing just that.
Well, again, it can't be worse than just saying DNA molecule is the default. It can't be any fucking worse. I mean, any fucking activism is better than saying unintelligent design is what I'll invest in. Yeah, I'll go with the unintelligent design. I'll go with the crude forces. I mean, I won't apply any of my ethical understanding or my rational judgment. I'll just go with what nature says is okay. That's fucking retarded.
You're basing your point of view on an axiom and nothing more.
Yes, quite obviously I'm basing my point of view on my premises that define, like, I believe in gravity, I believe I'm on a planet, I believe, yes, there's lots of those axioms, and they're rock solid for my purposes. And if somebody wants to counter-argue them, fine, argue those premises, but you're just saying no premise is valid unless it's the premise that the default is better. That we should all go with Gaia. No, I'm not going to go with Gaia.
Beware of conflating the two. Beware of that illusion. Beware of the idea that there are absolutes out there, or at least that we've discovered any absolutes out there.
Yeah, beware of rapists selling condoms. I mean, fuck you.
It leads, as I say, to unsustainable conclusions, and it leads to blind alleys like...
Yeah, whatever. Says you. Blind alleys like antinatalism. There's nothing blind about it. It's explicit. The argument's wide open. It's pointing right in a direction saying, look, you want to be an asshole and create more potential risk? You want to draw straws for other people and impose harm on them? Well, this is the way you do that. And if you don't want to do that, this is the way you go. You don't have babies. Yeah, it's not really complicated. It's really fucking goddamn simple. And you're just evading the responsibility. You're just evading the fact that you're willing to draw straws from other people and cause them harm because you're an arrogant, obnoxious, egomaniacal asshole. That's the truth here. That's the axiom premise truth. You're just a fucking selfish asshole.
Antinatalism. It seems logically impeccable until you actually examine the axioms that underpin it.
Well, you don't do that, so god damn it, this is so fucking irritating. You don't examine those premises. You haven't done anything to them at all except say harm doesn't exist. Once the person's dead, their harm doesn't matter, which is idiotic. You've argued that somehow we've argued that non-existent people live in non-existia, which we're not arguing. So, yeah, you haven't dealt with any of our premises.
It's no more sensical than anything else. It's all based on certain assumptions.
Well, whatever. Than anything else? What does that mean? Than anything else? I mean, all theories are equal? Oh, fuck.
Without which I admit we can't go forward. But
well, you admit it, but you won't concede to what that admission means. That's right. That means we're going to be making a decision, and the question is, should we make the right decision or the wrong decision? Should we go obvious with the obvious right decision, or should we go with the preposterously unrealistic wrong decision because that one satisfies our ego?
Staking the axioms as facts, as the truth. Given the fact of what conclusions Mr. Benatar has arrived at by the lazy conflation of axioms.
Well, again, lazy. I mean, the book goes into extensive detail. It holds the thing up. It turns it around. It shows it from every fucking angle. The last thing he can be called is lazy. So this is just bullshit. He's saying make an argument. Make a counter-argument for the fact that we are built out of need. We bring need to the world. The world doesn't have need in it until we put it in the world. And the consequence of that need is that it goes unresolved. And that creates harm. And that harm has no functional compensator. Because the need didn't need to exist. Damn, not complicated.
For fact, I think it's fair to say that he's not as wise as Socrates.
Yeah, well, says you, right? With your what, pompous, arrogant, I'll do a smug little smiley thing and say he doesn't know as much as God. Or he's not as smart as Buddha. Yeah, and that's all you're doing. You're just being like a smug Christian. Well, wait till God gets you in hell. Ha ha ha. That's all you're doing. Okay. Oh yes, Socrates agrees with you. Says you. If Socrates was alive today and he read Benatar's book, I think Socrates would be saying, damn, that's a fucking good argument. I mean, really. I mean, why don't I miss the Martians on Mars? There's a reason why I'm not upset that there's no Martians on Mars watching American Idol. And I guess the reason is that I have this bigoted psychology that thinks I'm special and that my kind is special, and we're really not. It's all a delusion in my fucking head. That's what Socrates, you know what? I wished, it would be so kick-ass if we could just resolve these things. Even if it cost me $10,000 to go to like some kind of total recall place, where we could actually go back in the past and we could actually do this thing, and have Socrates get up to speed. I mean, it would be so kick-ass, because I just love to watch Socrates wipe that smug fucking expression off your face and say, "You motherfucker, who the fuck were you to talk for me, you dumb shit? You think I'm as dumb as you? You think I can't figure out what psychology is? You have all this evidence. You have DNA evidence. You got the fucking genome. You got fucking, gorillas doing sign language, and motherfuckers like you are still talking this babble." I mean, Socrates would be, he would be so up your fucking, he'd be slapping your face. What were you thinking, you fuck, using my name and on this crap? Who the fuck are you to take my name and smear it in your fucking gooey porridge, your fucking Teletubby goddamn porridge? Fuck you. God, that would be so fucking fun. Damn. Alright, anyway, probably enough of a video. He's got more bullshit to come here, but, maybe I'll save some for later. What a dumbass. Socrates is on my side. He is, you know that, don't you? Even Mr. Smith's on my side. For sure. Mr. Smith's on my side. Morpheus is a douchebag. Yeah. Anyway. Till next time.